Welcome back to day 9 of the 100 Horror Films in 31 Days. I got in 4 films. First up is a movie Japanese film. Sion Sano, who directed Suicide Club, directed this film called Cold Fish. And this is an interesting film. It's a long one. It's 2.5 hours. It's about a guy that owns a fish store, and he runs into a competitor who is a very aggressive, bullying, over domineering type guy. And basically, it's a study in contrast of these two characters. The one, the one main character being passive, kind of just lets everyone run over him, dominate him, including his wife and his daughter. And then the other guy who is turns out to be not only a bully and domineering, but a nutcase, a serial killer. And so you've got these contrasts of these two characters, and over time you see changes occur that are interesting. I thought it was a very good film. I think it's the only complaint I have about this one is I think that they overplayed the passive nature of the character, because the contrast of his change of his character over the course of the movie was so drastic. I thought it was a little bit unrealistic. He was just too. In some cases, he was just too passive. I mean, it just didn't seem very realistic. Having said that, maybe that's just being nitpicky. But I thought it was a great film. Highly recommend it. I haven't checked out the special features, but I definitely will. For some reason, in this one, I got 2 copies of the Blu-ray. And then there's a bonus disc of special features that I got to check out. Yeah, Cold Fish from 2010. Good stuff. Next up is Severin release. This is Fulci for Fake 2019. And this is a documentary, basically a love letter to Fulci as a director. It has interviews with his daughter and a variety of other people that worked with him in the film industry. It was very, very good. Certainly, Fulci is one of my favorite directors. Definitely from a horror perspective. I mean, I think he's the king when it comes to Italian horror, right up there with Dario Argento, in my opinion. But yeah, it was a 90-minute love letter. I definitely recommend it to Fulci fans. Bunch of special features. I guess these are additions to the documentary, extended interviews and things like that. I haven't checked it out yet. I give that a 7 out of 10. And then next up is 1958. Went back in time a little bit here for this one. I broke out this old set, which is Karloff Lugosi, and I watched Frankenstein 1970, and this has Boris Karloff playing the scientist, and he's got an axe to grind, as most of these horror scientists do, and he's going to resurrect as a monster to take revenge on all the people that did him wrong. Same, typical storyline. It's kind of a clunker, to be honest. I mean, as a kid watching it when I was a kid, the monster was kind of scary, but and today, watching it again today, it's just a clunker. I mean, it's not bad, and Boris does his best. I think the problem with these type films is that there is no supporting cast. When Karloff's not doing his thing, the movie just kind of grinds to a halt. The one interesting thing about Frankenstein 1970 is directed by a guy named Koch, who went on to be an executive producer for Ghost, the Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore film, and then the comedy Airplane. Definitely from a director's perspective, at least given this one, I think he was well served to move on to do other things, because he doesn't. This was a very workmanlike, would be kind, I think, in terms of the direction in this film. But it is a Boris Karloff film, and it's As with Boris, every film he's ever been in is worth watching. I give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, 6 out of 10. It has not aged well. And then finally, the best watch of the day, 1972's Frenzy. I still have the old DVD box set of all the signature collection for Alfred Hitchcock, and that's what this is, just the signature collection DVD. It's not bad. The picture quality could be better, obviously, with the Blu-ray, but Frenzy, man. Frenzy, I think, is one of my favorite. It's certainly one of my favorite Hitchcock films, and highly underrated. It's about a necktie killer, and Hitchcock doesn't pull any punches in this. The kills are unpleasant to watch and brutal. I mean, the rape strangulation stuff is brutal. And it's also one of the films that comes to mind when you think about what did working class London look like in the 70s. Man, this film gives it to you. It's a great snapshot of working class London in the 70s, I think. Awesome film. I think I gave it I want to say I gave it a 10 out of 10. No, I gave it a 9 out of 8.5. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, and I'll tell you why. I think it could be shorter. I think the police procedural part of this and some of the comedy that Hitchcock threw in with the police, the cops was, it's not bad. I liked it. It just could have. I think it slowed the film down. It could have been shorter and paced better. That's just my opinion. But at 2 hours, I think it maybe could have been 100 minutes. Maybe you could cut 10 minutes off of it and move it along a little faster. That would probably be my only nitpick, if you will. John Finch. I do need to give out a shout out to John Finch and Barry Foster. Barry Foster was fantastic in this as the serial killer. Barry Foster was in the Battle of Britain. He is also in Dunkirk. He's a great actor. He's one of those that needs to get recognized more. All right, that's going to do it for day 9. Appreciate you watching.